I take this opportunity to welcome may I welcome Mr. Peter Decker to start the proceedings, the President of the Sri Lanka Association of Printers.
Thank you, Lakshita. Very good morning and warm welcome to the webinar Rethinking in Printing and Packaging. Sri Lanka Association of Printers takes pride in joining hands with All India Federation of Mass Printers in building a brighter working world by launching the webinar Rethinking in Printing and Packaging. The world as we have created, it is a process of thinking. It cannot be changed without changing the word thinking. All India Federation of Mass Printers, AIFPM, is the sole representative of more than 250,000 printers in India and is the world's largest printers association. AIFPM draws its strength from various regional associations spread across India for the purpose of strengthening the printing industry. AIFPM supports, participates, and organizes a number of regional, national, and international events. A sincere gratitude and thank goes out to the president of AIFPM, the P. Chanda, and the team of AIFPM for the assistance rendered and participations. We highly appreciate the support and assistance given by Mother P. Chanda for creating a very special bond between India and Sri Lanka and in the past. And we hope and anticipate that Ms. Chanda will continue to support and assistance as always done in the past as well. I'd like to especially thank the immediate past president of AIFPM, Professor Kamal Chopra, for all the assistance rendered in organizing this webinar for the printing fraternity of Sri Lanka. Mr. Kamal Chopra has always been valuable helping hand for us, and the support and assistance that he has rendered us is commendable and applaudable. Your gesture of goodwill is highly appreciated by the printing fraternity of Sri Lanka. Professor Kamal Chopra is highly energetic person, very busy in the printing industry and organizing many events for the printing fraternity of India. Print Olympia is the biggest talent hunt in the printing and is the only competition of its kind in the world. All events made possible by Mr. Kamal Chopra speaks volumes, and we hope and anticipate Mr. Kamal Chopra will continue these good deeds in the future as well. I would like to mention that Mr. Kamal Chopra is the president of the World Print and Communication Forum, which intends to hold their annual general meeting during the year in Colombo. Mr. Kamal Chopra has proposed Sri Lanka as a venue, and we are much honored to have been nominated as a destination. While thanking Mr. Chopra for nominating Sri Lanka, we look forward with much enthusiasm to host the elite event, which will be a milestone for Sri Lanka Association of Printers as well as the printing fraternity of Sri Lanka. The Sri Lanka printing fraternity networking with Indian printing and packaging industry is seen as a true realistic mission and has already become a part and parcel of the passage towards growth. The training opportunities has provided Sri Lanka is commendable, not only the printing industry, but in the other industries as well. SLAP believes knowledge is power, and it can help you overcome any fear of the unexpected. SLAP is not just another association, but a committed body providing the highest standard of support for printers to develop healthy and sustainable enterprises by means of constant involvement, training, and engagement with all industry stakeholders in Sri Lanka. A special thank goes out to the panel of speakers, Professor Dr. Anjan Kumar Baral, P.G. Ramakrishna, Mr. Naresh Bodia, and our own Mr. Malinda Tendukun, for the valuable assistance and participation at today's webinar, Rethinking in Printing and Packaging. I'm sure you will all enjoy the webinar today and find it useful for your day-to-day work. I now hand over the forum to the moderator, Mr. Rashid Singh, to proceed with the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peter Decker. I now invite the President of the All India Federation of Master Printers, Mr. P. Chander, to speak a few words.
Very good morning to all of you.
Good morning, nice to see you.
My name is Chander. I'm the President of the All India Federation of Master Printers. Very good morning to Mr. Peter Decker and Malinda Tenakun and Dr. Anjan Kumar Paral, Naresh Bodia, and of course our C.G. Ramakrishnan from Technova, and Professor Kamal Chopra, who has made it all this possible. Sri Lanka, SLAP and AFMP go a long way in fostering ties. Way back in 2002, when I had visited, at that time was the president was Mr. Satish Abe Vikrame. From that day onwards, the journey started, and we have a lot of cordial relationship with both the countries. And the topic chosen for this webinar is Rethinking Printing and Packaging. Packaging is all set to enhance and double the capacity of printers, and most printers of India are all shifting towards the packaging side because of the commercial commercial printing slowdown, which has happened quite a few places in India. And we have also seen a bountiful paper mills all changing their structure to the board and other raw materials. And and AFMP in all its things in greater cooperation between the SAARC countries and all the other countries like Sri Lanka, which is Bangladesh and Indonesia. We have been providing a lot of support and technical and a lot of educational fields also. We wish to continue this in a very long way. I wish this webinar a grand success. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chander. I now invite Mr. Professor Kamal Chopra to speak a few words for this forum.
Good morning, friends. Today is a fantastic opportunity to be with the printers of Sri Lanka and India. Thanks, Peter. It is your dedication and hard work towards printing sector that today the apex bodies of India and Sri Lanka came together to guide the budding printers of both the countries.
Thank you, sir.
Hats off to you, sir, for this commitment. I'm thankful to my dynamic president, Mr. P. Chander, for accepting the proposal of organizing this joint conference. I'm also thankful to Mr. C.G. Ramakrishnan, popularly known as RK, Dr. Bral and Naresh, for accepting my request to be here to guide us during working hours of this busy day. For a printer to spare time in busy day is very difficult. And today is a busy day in India. It's not a holiday like some European countries. Really, there is a need for rethinking on printing and packaging. Talking about Indian printing and packaging industry, I may tell that during past couple of years, we have noticed many ups and downs. May it be the directions of the government not to print calendar and diaries, unnecessary increase in the prices of raw material, especially paper, lockdown due to the second wave of pandemic, and decreasing demands of the printing. And after all, just a couple of months before, increase in the GST rates. More than physical impact, COVID influenced the Indian printers very hard economically. Indian printing industry is dominated by micro and small units. Just now, Peter indicated the number of printers in India. We tell the Indian printing industry industry, we have, if we believe in the figures, we have 250,000 printers in India, which is largest anywhere else. And 85% of these are facing deep crunch due to the longest ever lockdown in India. Our printers, especially the commercial printers and mainly micro and small printers, suffered maximum during the long lockdown. I may indicate the recent survey conducted by the Print Week, the popular printing magazine in Sri Lanka also, that 27.3% print companies were on the verge of closures. I will repeat once again. Is the survey of Print Week that 27.3 print companies are on the verge of closure. Among the rest, 36.4 said they are reasonably comfortable with their cash flow, but things could be better. 13.6 had contingency plan for the crisis situation, while 22.7% declare that their cash flow remained unaffected. As per the observation of Print Week, a close reading reveals that at least 3,000 printing business across India could go bust very soon. To save the commercial printing industry, we urgently need at least 3 vaccines. One affordable vaccine for the coronavirus, as the government is already trying and they have already given. And a government vaccine to boost the balance sheet of micro and small printers, and a microeconomic vaccine. So these 3 vaccines are required for the survival. Though we are all confident that none of these 3 are provided or will be available in near future, the magazine's overall assessment is, even in the best case scenario, commercial print firms are operating at 55 to 66% of their pre-COVID capacity. Now, going in these figures, it clearly indicates that the firms are not running to their full capacity. Cost of production is likely to increase. But what about the price? Actually, we are charging what we are charging from our customer. It is well known that the prices of our products are governed by the customers. Other prices are decided by the customers. One has to supply at the price quoted by the customer. Otherwise, someone else will get that order, and it is the true status of our business today. In these circumstances, it is seen that printer knowingly or unknowingly start charging rates lower than his cost of production, just not to lose the customer. I will tell that selling below the cost will lead to closure of the establishment one day. But at the same time, there's a need to produce at lowest possible cost because of competition. If you don't start producing at lowest possible rates, someone else will do it, and that will be the death nail for your establishment. I always say that selling below the cost is foolishness, and at the same time, production at minimum possible rates is our necessity. That's why we are organizing today's seminar, so that you must know the current situation. Don't be frightened from a person who is selling cheap, but afraid of a person who is producing at economical rates. It is natural that increase in output means less production cost, hence more profit. Perhaps it is the only solution left for the printer, especially for small and micro printers, for survival in these days. Again, for huge production, largest establishment, more capital investment is required. Now, what I say, it is just possible by joining hand with other printers, by establishing a networking for joint production. I would like to say that instead of pulling the legs, it is better to join hands of others. And that is the secret of success. But in today's terminology, I will say it is not the secret of success, but secret of survival today. The commercial printing market is fragmented due to the presence of many players. Due to a reason such as overcapacity of firms and pricing pressure, the market appears to be extremely competitive in nature. With networking production, not only cost of production will drop, but you will be able to bid for larger orders which are beyond your capacity. And above all, avoiding any additional capital investment. I will say that this networking can be within the countries also, not only within the city printers, and within two countries also. I also prompt that with the networking, we can progress better. At the same time, there's a need to adopt the change. As I quoted at the various platforms, that ink on paper is not printing now. Adopting little change, commercial printer is again gaining grounds. As per the recent report of Research and Market, the global printing market was valued USD 400.46 billion in 2019. And it is projected to be worth USD 460.28 billion by 2025. This increase, registering a CAGR of 2.24% during the period 2020 to 25. The commercial printing market is poised for remarkable growth over the next 5 years. Technological explosion along with the rising application is anticipated to encourage the demand globally. Further, the need for shorter production for a wide range of applications is increasing rapidly for the commercial printed market, such as books, direct mail, brochures, and catalogs. It is expected that 72% of corporations utilize direct mail campaigns. Direct mail campaigns are relatively inexpensive and are of great value for companies to keep their image and services in the public eye. This aspect of printing is expected to continue an upward trend in the future also. Not even this, even the survey of Havas Media Group published in the Economics Times recently said that the print medium has emerged as one of the most credible source of information for most consumers, brands, and marketers. The findings suggest that even though a daily habit, the print media reports a dip in the relationship during the pandemic years. The consumer expectation continued to grow stronger in the newspaper in terms of content, and it was not just limited to news. You cannot achieve the look and feel of ink on paper and pixel on a screen. The beautiful brochure says as much about the product it prompts as the text and images. The medium truly is the message. Read a book to the child. The book becomes embodiment of what the book taught. Child will treasure the book while with the treasure the electronic file and fall asleep with it. The study of Origin Employment Direct says, after a decline since 1990 and a big drop during the Great Recession and a smaller one due to the COVID-19, printed products will have the place in our economy for a long time to come. We have the facts that after a gap of 10 years, the statistics of printing of books and publication has started growing in European market as per the survey and report submitted by World Printer Communication Forum. Printing is considered to be the biggest invention of mankind till date and has a long and vast history. In fact, since the dawn of civilization, endeavors of man has been to communicate and convey his emotions and thoughts on a wide scale. The evidence this carving is available in the ancient caves where drawings, paintings, figures, graphics, science, scribbling mean human feeling of hope and despair, fear and confidence, war and peace are there. Johannes Gutenberg developed the art of printing by aggregation in one place that technologies known for the centuries before the start of his first press in the modern world in the year 1448 at Mainz in Germany. 2022 is the 574th birthday of modern printing. Developed in the heart of medieval Europe, printing spread throughout the world and brought literacy, and learning to everyone touched by it. One message for the printers, especially for the commercial and small printers of both the countries. Printing survived cinema, radio, and television. Printing survived censorship, poor writing, bad ideas. Printing survived war and peace, boom and bust. Printing survived mechanization, automation, and endless technology upheaval. Printing will survive the internet and e-books. And those misguided souls who say that printing is dead, printing is more alive than any other time in the history. Printed word, which is survived variation of time across the centuries. What a distance the printing industry worldwide has traveled. From the age of stone and wooden blocks up to digital printing, 3D printing, printing electronics, and much, much more. Of course, printing is changing shape. And we have to cope with it. Some print will decline as we substitute. It will substitute the electronic media. This is to be expected as technology crash and certain printed products lose out to more effective approaches. But new printed product will evolve to fill the void because printing technology is not standing still. Packaging, functional printing, printed electronics, web to print, 3D printing, green or sustainable printing are opening up new sectors of the printers. The concepts of printing in the enterprise has undergone a major paradigm shift in the last few years. One of the major reasons behind is the rapid growth in the area of printing technology. This has created a scenario where printer have evolved much beyond the basic printing function. Today's seminar is the purpose that we must learn what is coming and what are the problems we are facing. But at the same time, just to guide the printers about these rapid changes and try to evolve the concept that nowadays printing is not merely ink on paper, as I said earlier. Offset Printer Association is organizing an international conference on printed electronics and smart packaging with the support of Government of India. During the first week of September, Peter has already confirmed to the part of the conference. I wish to invite all the printers from both the countries for participating in this international conference. I will share the registration and other dates for joining. This is why I'm asking, because as I started my speech, that printing is changing and we must adopt the change. If we will not adopt the change, we will be lag behind, and there's no other solution. So that's why I wanted to say thank you very much. Thank you, both the printers of both the countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kamal Chopra. We now move on with the webinar. I would like to inform all the speakers that we will have a 5-minute Q&A session after each speech. Participants will be given the opportunity to ask questions. And to start with the webinar, I now invite our first speaker, Mr. C.G. Ramakrishnan, popularly called RK, is the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of Technova Imaging Systems Private Limited. He has been associated with Technova for over 35 years. Mr. Ramakrishnan is a management postgraduate specializing in finance and has had extensive experience in finance, sales, corporate strategy and affairs, and overall business management. He has handled several key projects for the company. A keen student and a fellow of Indian economics, politics and general affairs, Mr. C.G. Ramakrishnan completed his BSc from Mumbai University and his MBA from NMIMS Mumbai. I now hand over the forum to Mr. C.G. Ramakrishnan to continue with his presentation. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Ramakrishnan.
Thank you, Mr. Sanabratane. Thank you, Mr. Peter Druckerji. Thank you, Kamalji. Thank you, Chandra Saab. Can you hear me? Is it clear?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, thank you. Very good morning. Thank you for having me here in the Sri Lankan Association of Printers webinar. I am deeply honored to be part of this meeting. And whatever little I know of, obviously I am not a technology-based man. I've been an overall management man with a finance background. And something that I could add based on my experiences and share is something that I said, Kamalji, because there are much more, I would say, distinguished people on the panel and outside of the panel who could speak on really the trends of printing and packaging. But first and foremost, let me just say that I know that right now, particularly in the people all over the world, printers all over the world, and a little more in particular, printers from Sri Lanka, I think we are going through very tough times. And I'm aware of the specific times in Sri Lanka, the economic and the financial and the overall political and the social unrest that is there on the background. And I think that's there, which is perhaps could be a shadow while we are looking at today's webinar on technology. The reality of today's present is something that might be at the back of the minds. So, Mr. Decker, if in case there are specific things on economics and finance related to business of the printers and of Sri Lanka printing, maybe that would be I would be open and welcome to a specific thing related to that, if which I had done that for the Indian AIFMP last couple of years when we went through the COVID crisis. So I was actually making a presentation on not necessarily the future, but I was looking at a presentation of how to actually survive the present crisis, how to revive, and then how to thrive. So the theme that I had put was survive, to revive, to thrive. So maybe that is relevant in the current immediate circumstances before we actually look at the future. So I would be more open. I mean, in case there are any questions related to that from the Sri Lankan team and the printers, I would be glad to answer to the best of my knowledge. So that's something that I thought I could do so.
Yeah, sure.
And I have slides related to that presentation also, which if during the course of this webinar, if there are some questions on that, I might be able to share some of it. Overall, I think, as Kamalji very lucidly put, I think he's been the champion of printing in the Indian printing industry. He doesn't look his age. He looks very younger to the actual age that Kamalji, and the Kamalji brings in the passion of printing. And I think he has summarized it very beautifully in terms of what the challenges and opportunities of commercial printing are in India, and obviously for the rest of the neighboring countries as well. So I would like to perhaps maybe use 10 to 15 minutes to share a perspective that from our company's point of view, which my colleague Amit Khurana had presented during the recent print pack, in terms of what we see in terms of reimagining and rethinking printing is necessary in the changing contours of not just printing, I think in changing contours of the overall economics, overall technology, overall most important market dynamics, and the government regulations and environment. And I think for all of us, what is the most important, all of this is important, but the most important from a point of view of the point of view of survival and actually growth. We're not just talking of survival, we are talking of growth. For that, I think the epicenter of all of this is what's happening and changing in the market and what's happening and changing in the customer mindset. So maybe with your permission, can I share some, I might need to share the screen.
Yes, please go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll just quickly walk you through a small slide presentation that we have put together on the topic of rethinking print. As I said, overall, I think what print industry and any industry for that matter is a combination of technology changes, what happens, what the market dynamics happens, what the economics and the financial aspects, and what the overall government regulation and the general business environment in the country and in the world happens. So here what we will talk of in the next 10-15 minutes is something what happens in the overall market dynamics and the technology changes in the printing. Then what do we say? So I think from the statistics that we've got I think his overall print is around almost close to 9. The global print in terms of print and allied to print is almost about $900 billion industry. And it is 1/4 of the automobile industry in the world. And it is 8 times right now the video gaming. And obviously over a period of time in the future, the video gaming would grow much faster. But just to get the size of the importance of the print industry globally, it's almost 900. And I fully second what Kamalji mentioned, that print will survive, will grow, and will thrive. It is very, very, very relevant, because I think it's more in the sense that what print brings in, I think print has a power to change and transform the world, and it keep itself changing. I think it's everybody knows that there are the real positive aspects of print, the credibility of print, the vibrancy of print, the visual appeal of print, I think is powerful. And therefore, whether cinema came, whether the television came, whether digital is there and digital will grow, I think it's not a question of whether print will become obsolete. Print will survive. But obviously the challenges to print to remain relevant and contemporary is very much there. And those who does not change to be relevant and contemporary will get obviously laid by the wayside. But the print has a power to change and transform the world and keep itself changing. And why so? Because I think it brings in various aspects. It brings color to life. It integrates culture. It generates ideas and connects human beings. It enhances the knowledge. So clear, big time winners, concepts and plus points of print will keep print relevant and sustainable and growing, provided print is relevant and contemporary to what the changing requirements of the global human race are. What is the key operative word in any decade? In any decade, the word is change. So industries are changing, and there was industry 2.0, which we know in many years back, not just the decades of mass production from the Western world. We make many of one thing, then it graduated and went into industry 3.0, where we went into automation, globalization as a trend. We make many things. And then right now we are looking at a smart factory, where we make one or many things, obviously based on the demand for even one item. So I think that's where the industries are changing. And so therefore is print changing. Print industry to be relevant to what the customer wants, I think is changing also from a mass production, where the key theme was unit cost. That was a key metric. And it meant that who won in those industry was those who got the largest job with long run lengths and depended on having the fastest equipment and the widest equipment, and who actually had an access to distribution to the warehouses or to the what we call as the wholesale. You had a direct access to that wholesale. So that was industry 2.0 in print. Then it gravitated to 3.0 in the automation and the globalization phase, where it was not just the unit cost, but I think we had a definition called the total cost of ownership. Or we also looked at the fact that the customer needed a total solutions approach. So therefore we had a total solutions approach and a total cost of ownership as a key metrics of performance. And winning there meant offering broader range of different products of different run lengths or different solutions that was required by the customer. And it depended on having a mix of technologies, not just one technology, whether it's offset, toner, inkjet, and obviously digital. So mix of all technologies. And it supported distribution to not just the warehouse or the wholesaler, but also to the retail actual converter. That was industry 3.0 in print. Industry 4.0, as we define it, or what we call as a smart factory in a general terminology, where I think the key metrics right now is not just the unit cost, is not just the TCO, but I think in today's time, based on what the customer requires, is one key metrics is the overall turnaround time, the TAT, what we call as turnaround time. And that's the key metric right today, where winning means having the fastest speed to market and capitalizing on the current trends and obviously the future trends. And it depends upon automating the workflow and having access to the actual press availability, the press information. And where the direct distribution, it not just goes right now only to the warehouses, not just to the retail, is actually direct to the consumer. So therefore you extend just going beyond the wholesaler to the retailer, to actually to the direct to the customer. And that's what current industry 4.0 smart factory relevant to print is all about. And why is this so? Because I think obviously the trend, based on what the print consumers and the segments are asking, is obviously because of the following factors, that you have an economy which I think is craving for attention. Everybody wants a very, very personalized attention, and it is an attention-driven consumer who is actually right now the king. It is personalized requirement, obviously. It's a quick turnaround requirement because everybody wants instant gratification. You can't wait. I think when somebody is exposed to an experience of a Swiggy or a Zomato or a thing with a 10-minute and a 20-minute experience in terms of food, he or she cannot wait for 5 odd days or 10 days or 20 days for a print job. So there is a quick turnaround, or what we call as a turnaround time, becomes a very, very quick, becomes a very important need in the changing consumers' requirement in today's print industry. The joy of missing out, what we meant by that is essentially somebody need not be so-called actually at the workplace and still want whatever he wants. He can be wherever relaxing, he can be holidaying, but still he wants to ensure that he misses out actually being there, but he still gets whatever product and the convenience and the experience of it. So that's the joy of missing out, wherever he is relaxing, but still gets the product, get the product experience. And then there is the whole concept of eco-awakening. What we call is, I think the whole sensitivity to not just economics, the sensitivity to ecology and environment, I think, which is the key theme, I think, one of my co-panelists also going forward of eco-awakening. And I will walk you through some of the trends of eco-awakening as to what the corporates are wanting there. And self-seeker, I think everybody today, self-attention with the selfie culture and all those things, the consumer wants a much more importance on the self. So these are the consumer trends that we feel is relevant for the print segment to actually embrace itself in its own configuration of business model for the future. And the brand trends, it's not the beginning, but I think it will evolve over a period of time. This is just a beginning. And the power of digital, I think that's perhaps been unleashed upon us right now. And that's something which is creating a whole new standard in terms of delivery, print anything, print the no minimum order, print for an order of one, print in time, just print immediately, print anything and print an order of one. So I think that's what the whole concept of digital is bringing in terms of for the printing industry. So what is modern trade? Modern trade is all about consumerism. I think everybody has a choice to pick up whatever he or she wants in terms of the brands, the whole plethora of brands that's coming about, and that's what consumerism is all about. The whole convenience provided by e-commerce as compared to whatever you had to actually go and do a physical shopping. So the convenience of e-commerce and the multiple channels that the omni-channels are offering. Instead of only buying through one normal channel, you have a plethora of channels that now today barrage the consumer, which says that you have an option of buying from any consumer. And that's what all modern trade is all about. This is something that some of the customers are, some of the, what we call as the actual brands are talking of in terms of the eco-awakening for sustainability. I think these are all global brands, whether Nestle, Unilever, Marks and Spencer, Marks, Danone, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola. They all talking of something for the future. The key word is sustainability. They are talking of reducing, reusing, recycling. They are talking of fully reusing. I think the key buzzwords in many of these companies will be from a point of view of sustainability. And that, I think, is a key trend that I think printers, the printing fraternity will have to build it in terms of their products and offering. So whatever products and materials that they use, I think should have obviously a great sense of sustainability and be able to be recyclable. And the person and the printer and the printer who builds this in terms of their product offering, I think will be a winner to the future. And that's what increasingly multinationals are going in for. And I think even at a global level, the aspect of climate change, the aspect of the whole deglobalization, the big trends that are mega trends that are happening, all of it, I think, is talking of sustainability as a key theme. And therefore, I think in this whole world of printing industry, there are this whole key players, three players. One is a brand owner, one is the actual printer and converter, and one is the actual end user consumer. And how does the converter or the printer connect between the brand owner and to the end user, which will be able to make the converter deliver the product which meets the brand owner's expectation. And finally, what does the end user want? The end user wants convenience, the end user wants uniqueness, or what we call the personalization. He wants to be engaged with multiple channels, and he wants overall a wow experience. That is the final hallmark of a product that he wants to buy. So I think if a converter or a printer is able to get the expectation from a brand owner and is able to fulfill the requirement of end user, then I think that is a winning combination, that a printer will be there for the present and for the future. Now, coming into specifically, I would like to say that Sri Lanka, the specific print, is thriving and will thrive, notwithstanding what I said, the current challenges of the Sri Lankan printers and the overall Sri Lankan economy. As I said, we at India, I am sure the AIFMP will do whatever is there in terms of supporting that we can do. And I've also said at the beginning of my call, if there is any specific functional aspects of finance and economics which I can be of any help, I will be glad to perhaps give maybe another webinar related to that. But we hope and pray and wish that the Sri Lankan economy comes back and bounces back quite soon. We in India had a similar problem way back in 1991, and I think we were also similarly in terms of the challenge. And I think after the liberalization there, I think the country has come up. Even though we have current and future challenges, I'm sure Sri Lanka also will find its right this thing and bounce back. Having said that, I think we believe in the fact that the Sri Lankan economy has all building blocks in terms of the reach. E-commerce is growing at a very good rate. There are a good number of startups and the unicorns in Sri Lanka. We have a young nation with the average age of a median age of 34 years. We have a very good literacy rate as compared to the global literacy rate. And the per capita consumption of most of the products is still lesser than the global average. So therefore, the potential to grow in terms of printed materials in Sri Lanka is quite there. I think if we overcome the current crisis, I think in terms of a longer sort of thing, Sri Lankan's print industry will survive, not just survive, but I think thrive for the future. And that's something that I'm sure the government and Sri Lankan Association of Printers will work together to make that happen. So I think overall, the essence of the Sri Lankan geopolitical, I don't want to spend more time, but I think there are building blocks related to this in terms of being able to develop this print, in terms of being able to attract foreign investment, the localization, with the biz globalization, and all of it is relevant and is there. Maybe immediately it may not be put into place. It will take some more time to actually do that. But as I said, that printing business will survive and thrive in Sri Lanka. And I think what would be the hybridized version, we believe that it's not just a question of one technology. I think here we have something in India for us also. We'll offset survive? Will commercial segment survive? Commercial segment has its own challenges. Offset has challenges, but offset is still very, very relevant. Print is relevant, print is credible. I think this question came during the COVID when the newspaper customers were saying that will newspaper collapse. I think we have found out that post-COVID, 2 years after post-COVID, we find that print is still very relevant. Newspapers are still very relevant because they still are the most credible source of information to the general people. So I think the model more and more as we go along will become more hybrid. So again, it's a classic case of whether work from home will replace work from office. No, I think it's going to be a hybrid of work from home and work from office. So the technology wise, the segment wise, packaging is growing. Packaging is a future, but commercial will still find its level. Publications will continue to be relevant. So it's going to be more and more of an hybridized model in the future. So I think this is what I had actually wanted to share as an overall trends in printing. I think what we have in the next few slides is more relevant to Technova, what Technova brings in this change. What we bring in this change is to, on the sustainability front, is the plates, green plates. What we bring into the table in terms of the hybrid technology is the fact that we are distributing the top range of digital presses and post-finishing equipment. And we're also into additive manufacturing and by way of 3D printers. So this is something that we are also having a new phase of Technova besides strengthening. I think the core, if I just have to put so, we are very much there in conventional offset printing, supporting Indian printers, or we have service to Indian printers, and support also we have service to Sri Lankan printers. So strengthening conventional printing, I think in terms of processless plates and greener chemistry and vendor managed inventories and things like that, which makes it much easier from a point of view of the supply chain. I know that the current supply chain crisis that hit us in the last 1 year has had its fair share of challenges to customers in terms of availability of plates and chemicals. I know that there are some, so I can say we are doing our full best because this is a global supply chain crisis. And wherever if there is any specific things, I had made a promise to Kamalji and others that if at all there are issues where we will see that we will not allow any printers to go jobless in terms of not on account of availability of plates. So we are putting that extra this thing. So supply chain is becoming a key factor in the world, also differentiating who's a reliable and a dependable supplier. We are going into establishing of digital printers, the digital platform of Konica Minolta, the HP and the Duplos. And then we are into digital additive manufacturing with Markforged and other 3D printers. So this is something related to what we are. I think we go into the green awareness, green solution offering, the best green practices and the audits. And this is something our own small contribution to the printing as we go into the world of sustainability in the future. So this is my quick 10 to 15 minutes thing that I said related to what we think is going to be reimagining and rethinking of print is all about. And we would be in our own small way be contributing to this new trends and obviously to support the entire Indian printing community and of course to our neighbors in SAARC and Sri Lanka in particular. So thank you very much. And if there are any specific questions on this or the earlier topics, you're welcome to take them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. C.T. Ramakrishnan, for your insight to our industry as well regarding the present and the future potential and the direction of print. It's the Q&A session and so the forum is open for questions.
RK, Malinda here.
Hi, Malinda. How are you?
Fine, RK. That I want to make a small request from you because I know that you are doing plate recycling in India for the small printers, because around in Sri Lanka, there are a lot of printers finding very difficult. I mean, the small printers finding very difficult to find the plates. So if you can help us in doing that recycling to do in Sri Lanka until this crisis comes over, when the plenty of material is available, it will be a great help for our small printers.
Yeah, so Melinda, basically, I think in terms of recycling in India, we're still not doing it at a major level. because there were still logistic challenges in the relevant states and all. But I'm sure with aluminum manufacturers like Hindalco and also putting up plans for recycling in the years going by, I think recycling will become a big thing. So I think whenever in terms of it becomes a very good proposal, I'm sure we will include Sri Lanka as well in terms of that supply chain for recycling as well, Melinda. So I will be in touch through our local guys, and we will whenever we work out anything in specific details for states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu, I'm sure we will include Sri Lanka as part of that sort of supply chain to collect it and make it easier for customers there.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Ramakrishnan, there is in the chat box, there is a question or a request from Mr. Yasantha. Please share the value of the global print market and projected growth, which you mentioned.
Yeah, so I'll get my guys to actually do that in terms of what I mentioned about $900 billion of global print market, the articles which are there. I think we'll try to share that. Yeah.
Also, Mr. Ramakrishnan, Mr. Anuradha is requesting appreciate if the percentage by resilience, stability of cash flow from the weakest to strongest in India, just mentioned by the, could be shared. That is my understanding. Mr. Anuradha, if you're online, please ask your question.
Yeah, so I think Kamalji had actually given some statistics related to on that from the Print Week survey. So maybe if the Print Week survey, we lay access to that, and that could be one piece of data. Now, in addition to it, if specifically if there is, see, actually the overall cash flow from the strongest to the weakest, I think depends upon a variety of factors in terms of one, the actual business practices by the relevant firm. And that's where I guess we will, maybe if there is any specific need, we will present a thing as to what are the good practices. Like we talk of good manufacturing practices, we will have good cash flow practices. And obviously the banking channel helps out in terms of MSME. Kamalji and the Federation is at the forefront of wanting to ensure much greater support from the banking channel and the finance channels to the MSME sector in India. That's something I think that's being worked at an All India Federation level. Maybe there are some good things to be shared from there. We'll also share from.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ramakrishnan. I think our next presenter is Professor Dr. Anjan Kumar Baral, who has acquired in-depth knowledge and expertise in the areas of print and packaging, education and research, beside extensive industry exposure, signing numerous MOUs with academia, corporate establishment. Based on his contributions to the global graphic arts education, training and research, Printing Industries of America conferred its most prestigious Global Education Award of Excellence, award popularly known as the Oscar in Printing, in Minneapolis in the year 2000. Also, he has received the prestigious award Print Ratna 2018 from the Lucknow Printers Association. He is a recipient of the prestigious Presidential Print Award 2021 towards acknowledging the outstanding services for the cause of printing, especially print education in India. Recently, he has been appointed as the Chairman, Publications and Graphic Technology, Sectional Committee of Management and Systems Development Council, Bureau of India Standards, New Delhi. The proceedings is handed over to Professor Dr. Anjan Kumar Baral. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your nice words. First of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to SLAP and AIFMP, especially the whole members, President Peter Decker, P. Chandarji, Professor Kamal Chopra, esteemed speakers, and all the members involved for organizing such type of webinars. Let me share my screen. This is what I am going to present today. It is the future trends of printing. Future is quite bright, and future, it depends on all of us. How we are going to perceive it, how we are going to face the challenges, how to make things to happen, that is in our hand. You can see the print is now in a different form and format. So we should know, we should evaluate what is the possible challenges, what are the possible actions to be taken, and how to deal with the present situation so that we can secure a better future. This is the very few slides. This will tell us about what we are today and what we have to supposed to do for the future. We started from wood block, then we started into laser, 3D, printed electronics, then smart printing. So simply print is evolving. It is changing from one form to another form. So it is our duty to forecast in which way we are going to fit the present and the future situation. In this situation, if the particular business unit, they do not follow the survival of the fittest, then surely they have to meet the end. So the same Darwinian rule still it holds true. Digitization, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, these technologies are certainly making inroads into different sections, different sectors. So printing has to also take care and the help of these such technologies, and they should implement into their business culture so that not only they are going to survive, but they are going to succeed also. You can see the print has evolved from a simple platen letter press to a very high-speed industrial inkjet printing. So certainly it has transformed over the time, and in the future also it is going to take a new path. So every time there is a disruption, there is a technological breakthrough, we have to evaluate them, we have to make sure that we are ahead of the time. Times are changing in the printing industry. You can see every printer now, every professional printer, from flexible packaging to quick printing, they are feeling the impact on the people, process, and the profit. So now you have to update your production processes and technology also, so that you can keep up with the trend and you can move along with the time. This industry in present scenario, they relies heavily on consumer expectations, because consumer expectations in this digital age, it is growing day by day. So we have to meet their expectations, then we have to adopt the innovative technologies also, because we cannot just sit idle and see the things are happening. For fulfilling their expectations, we have to use innovative technologies, new materials, because it is not only the ink on the paper, but we have to search for the new material. Then process efficiency, like Kamalji was telling, it will give us how to produce in a cheaper manner. So these efficiencies should be there, tight margins, okay? But still we have to find out various ways which will help to work in these tight margins also. So the printer, they have to evolve to remain fit and fine in the present scenario. You can see in the present scenario, web to print, digital presses, and mobile connectivity. These are the points, they are rising, and they are also playing a bigger role for the print business, and they are compelling the traditional business to change, to move along the time. As the next generation of digital presses, they push more for the streamlined production, and they focus on consistent quality, and presently the consumers are demanding, like the previous speaker was emphasizing, faster and easier ways to customize print jobs, greater versatility in the material. So there is a wide range of materials that we have to focus on to cater to the print customers. more accurate pricing and timing, because timing is very, very important. You have to hit the target at the very moment. Smaller order quantities, yes, order quantities are shrinking day by day, but still we are able to price for a single print also. At the same time, we have to go the bylaws of the land where we are operating and where we are going to cater. So compliance with that is the sustainable growth and development. There are many disruptive forces and operational challenges, but still, in order to remain going, in order to remain focused and going, we need to have a optimistic approach to the business model. Now you can see the thing is, now it is the integration of print and digital media. Rather than competing with the digital media, we have to complement each other. We have to take the facilities and the things which are being provided by the digital media. So it is a happy marriage between the print and the digital media, so that we can take the full advantage of both the segments to cater to the business in a very effective manner. Commercial printers, especially post-COVID situation, they are standing on the crossroad of major transitional and structural changes. So these companies willing to change, willing to grow, they have to go with the situation. They have to reformulate their business plan so that they can remain in the business. Like some companies are adopting and have prepared a clear route. So you have to adapt the particular situation, then we can find a clear route to move. Print providers have to face up the fact that paper-based communication is declining, whereas the electronic communication will continue to grow and further disrupt the market. Traditional marketing and communication concepts using only one channel. Here I am putting the emphasis on putting the complete your force on the single media channel will compete. Rather, they have to go for the consumer attention. However, print is a popular and trusted. Yesterday, there is a good like magazine coverage how the print media is still effective, tactile, and how it gives your sense of your ownership to the product, and gives a larger and a long-lasting impression on the human brain. So you have to go for integrated core cross-media campaign rather than focusing on a single media campaign. You can see print providers need to realize that industry is going through a period of a fundamental change. So that change is about the content on the substrate, and that substrate can be a smartphone, a computer screen, a point of sales display, or you can see it can be a piece of packaging also. So now this your medium, now it is changing from paper to screen to your smartphone. So you have to happily integrate this. So it is all about message, not the medium. So that is why print need to be flexible, marketing savvy, and have more channels to work with. Spending more time your customer to understand their pain point is important. Rather than focusing on technology and product, sit with your customer, understand his problems in the better way, how you can cater him. That is the key and the niche point. Make it easier for customers to do business with you. You have to make them comfortable so that they can continue doing business with you. Integrate your systems with theirs, like the web to print, so that they can submit their orders, proofs online, and have real-time information and update. This web to print trend, it giving a large number of small value orders in a business. So the commercial printers now they should focus on such type of things which is happening in the marketplace. The things which we need to focus on in coming days, like the first point is customization. You can have a look to this. This is like the modern intelligence. It tells about the growth rate by region 2022 to 27. You can see the high, medium, and low regions. This is the web to print has made extremely easy for the business to sell custom products. Just I want to show you few things. You can see like this. Now, this is the power of a print. Not only you are constraining yourself ink on paper, rather you are enlarging your business. This is the age where you have to diversify your business also. You have to go for customization of such things, which certainly will make your business to not only success story, to prosper and growth. Not only growth, but it's a sustainable growth. You can see customers are demanding such type of products, and as a print solution provider, you should eye on this also. Such type of customization is the need of the hour, and we should take care of such things. We should enlarge our viewpoint for such type of things. You can see this is the power of your personalization. People are asking for this, and we should cater to this segment also. Like a simple one, upload your design, you print it, and you make the things to reach their point by a day. So this is the demanding of the particular time. Then smart printing. Smart printing is also the need of the hour. Like the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, they have managed to carve a niche for every sector of the, like the last, yesterday I have visited a dentist, and he was telling how now this Internet of Things is now being used in their segments. So printing is also there. Printing industry should be ready to rule with AI and IoT, machine learning, such things. This will provide in an efficient and easy manner personalization, predict the paper usage, send alerts about possible breaches, ultimately making the print environment highly reliable and efficient. Smart printing. You can see like this, our color is going to be smart in coming days. So the printing industry, you can see this is the like a for example of printing flexible wearables. These are already started, and in coming years this is certainly be going to be a major part for the printing operations. Samsung few months before, they have introduced these smart printing of options, like from business innovations. You can see such things are there, and the printing industry should use this. Then cloud printing, one of my fellow speaker, he will be discussing in detail about this cloud printing. This just from this small pixel, you can see this is going to ensure a more reliable and convenient of print management in an organization. So in coming days, you can see it does away with the need of on-premise employees and servers. So you can see you don't need a software driver to connect a device to a printer every time. So printers access whatever they need to print straight from the cloud service. Then the marketplace model is the new black. Like you can see, it all started with Amazon, Etsy, etc. To be precise, they are 5 times more likely to search on a marketplace than a company website. So printing industries also need to use, like you have to focus on to cater to this new business pattern. Printing businesses are replicating the successful model of online marketplace. What you can in coming period, the print industry is likely to witness a surge in the market model to connect vendors and end users. So what will happen? Your creators can monetize by providing their creative service, while shoppers can buy products with unique print. So this is the power of the new business model. Let us not go to this. Yes, let us come to the diversification. To compensate for the lost revenue volume, like during the pandemic period, we lost revenue volume. Now, in order to compensate that, we have to go for diversification. Some print providers are increasingly working with several competitors. Rather than competing them, let us work together with the fellow competitors, and they are also shifting tactics to the adjusting to the new environment. I can show you a few things, like this is the way you can diversify your business. Not only you are focusing on your book production, you are going for ceramics printing, then your innovative bag designs, then t-shirt printings. Then yes, whatever we lost, because there is always a silver line in a dark cloud. Packaging is the new star. Commercial printers, although they are suffering, they are feeling the heat, but they can compensate with diversification, customization, adopting the latest technology, taking the help of IoT and all. Packaging is the new star. The perfect example is your Amazon. It is the driving force behind packaging innovation, like well-designed, printed, as well as labeled packaging. So Amazon has given us a food for thought to think about intensively how packaging can compensate the loss and how we can grow in coming time. You can see such type of packaging is the need of the hour. Innovative things you need. It's a very simple but at a very powerful packaging solution. You can have a look to this. This is how we should plan for innovative ways. You can see this is one more simple packaging, but how it is effective. You can see it is a simple package, but afterwards, after just pulling the t-shirt, you can use it. The same thing like the Samsung has, they have started. Once you open their electronics product and all, you can make it into a small table, in a small storage things. So here you can do the same thing. It's a very innovative packaging. You can see why not the water package drinking things in this such type of bottles. Why not such type of your gold foiling with this thing? Why not such type of beautiful labels? Why not such type of packaging which not only saves your space in the shelf as well as better handling and storage? Why not such type of packages which will give you after, so like the shelf life, it can be used again and again once the product is finished. Why not such a very simple one, but it is giving a very impact on your mind? So why not have such type of packaging? It's a beautiful, looks easy, eye-catching, and you grow your business. Why not such type of one thing? Then value addition is the key for success. Like Kamalji every time tells, you have to add value to the print. The print is evolving, so the printers. So you need to add value to up, like the printers can add spot UV varnishing, 3D embedded, textural effect, foiling. This will make our value addition much better. You can see a simple class, how it can be printed effective for its value addition. You can see you can go for spot gloss coatings to make a standout in the area. Why not a 3D effect to your print, such a beautiful one, giving a 3D effect? Why not the textural effect? You are giving a textural effect to your print. Now, in the coming time, wide format printing to take care of the large format posters, wallpapers, banners, it can attract new customers in coming time. This is the wide format prints. Then, pardon? Then your packaging mega trends, sustainability, interactive packaging, then Instagram like eye-catching, exceptional designing, reducing waste. These are the things you are going to encounter in coming days. These are the some of the opportunities. Now it is not a geographically barrier, global reach, cloud technology, niche market, inventory, then print manufacturing technology, system integration. So we have challenges also. We have to work in 1 to 3.3% your bottom profit line, operational visibility, spoil rate also, death by 1,000 caught, like high volume, low margin, every mistake, inefficiency. So these are the points that we have to look after. So this is a small presentation with the constraint of time. So this is how we should plan for a better future. Certainly, print was there, print is now, and print will be there in the future also, but simply it is evolving, and we have to take care of such forces which makes us to move forward in a very effective manner. Thank you. If anything, any question?
Thank you, Professor Anjan Kumar Baral. It's time for question and answer. The forum is open.
Yes, somebody is asking for augmented reality. AR, something like your video printing. See, reality means we are live here. This is reality. Augmented reality, it is just you can combine your reality with a virtual thing like a video printing. You can have a magazine where still you are in the real world, you are holding the magazine. You can go for a video printing with your smartphone. You can see the particular product, like if you are going, suppose it is for a bike or a packaging thing. So it will give the whole process a video which is printed on your things. Augmented reality was there, but certainly its importance is increasing day by day. People are asking about the mixed reality. Some people are asking about extended reality also. Now from virtual reality to augmented reality to mixed reality to extended reality, we have to connect them also in coming time. Yes.
Thank you, Professor Anjan Kumar Baral, for your valuable time, the positive the notes that you've given on the industry, and for spending your time with us. If we could move on to the next speaker, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Naresh Bodia, VP Business Development on Print Shop. Naresh Bodia has been associated with information technology and software industry for the last 20 plus years. He founded several companies in IT and education sector and been associated as Vice President of Business Development with On-Print Shop since 2011. He has been an influencer for print industry and many print service providers, helping them implement the web-to-print technology to automate their business. His focus has been researching industry trends, understanding business B2C and B2B printers' challenges to help them automate and grow print sales. During his tenure with On-Print Shop, he has worked with SMEs to some of top 400 print service providers across the globe, driving success working as IT partner, providing cost-effective solutions and personalized support. Under his guidance and leadership, On-Print Shop has been awarded 3 times in a row from 2016 to 2018 as must-see and red-hot technology for the innovations in offering high personalized B2B portals, custom wide format products, and photo products. Mr. Bodia has a master's degree in business administration and a diploma in psychology. The forum is open to Mr. Naresh Bodia for his presentation.
Thanks a lot, Lakshita ji, for the introduction. Thanks a lot, Kamal ji and the Sri Lankan. So it has been an immense pleasure to be part of this webinar today. And thank you so much, Kamal ji and the Sri Lankan Print Association for inviting me. And it's just, I'm too, my experience is too limited to talk on printing with having all the champions and sharing the screen with the champions today, like Ramakrishnan ji and Bansal ji. I mean, I'm amazed and I'm really touched with the kind of presentations that they've already delivered in terms of way the world is changing, the way the technology is changing, way the customer expectations are changing. And today, my presentation is more focused on one of the biggest challenges that this subcontinent is facing, is that in spite of understanding and having understanding of the technology, the changes, we are not able to migrate, or we are not able to shift our gears. We are still very resistant to change, and that is one of the biggest challenge I see in our part of the world, because I have had the opportunity of working with out of the top 10 printing companies. I've worked with the top 3 print companies. I've worked with some of the smallest print shops and growing companies across the globe. But when it comes to our part of subcontinent, whenever we talk about software, whenever we talk about change, whenever we talk about transforming experiences, we are still reluctant. We are still reluctant to take those. So my webinar is more focused on how we can actually drive, how we can make things happen with small steps, understanding our objections, understanding our limitations, and how do we move in from these challenging times to making some global brands, where we also become in the top ranking print companies of the world, and we can be proud of being ranked in the top printers, So already, I think Kamalji and other speakers have spoken about this. So I'm not going to take too much time on this, but yes, a lot of traditional print segments are dying, or their order quantities are going down because of the changing end user needs in terms of schools and colleges, governments. A lot of magazines, direct mailers are going down because of the usage of the digital media. Second very important aspect today with the world is facing is the raw material shortage. And typically when you look at the Sri Lankan market and the Sri Lankan printers, where I was reading few of your reports also, which indicated that the export of papers have really tripled down, and it's going to be very, very tough to sustain if we are not able to. The good lining was, yes, there are some even credit lines opened by Indian government as well to export, and they're hoping that the new government helps the print industry to get the raw material, without which it will be very difficult to drive. Other areas which already I think most of the speakers have mentioned, the short run orders, quick turnaround, which is the biggest need today. Because customers don't have the patience. Customers are ordering personalized print and they need immediately. And moreover, because of COVID, a lot of orders, a lot of people have become used to online and distance ordering, in terms where they don't want to really get in touch with people wherever possible. They want to reduce human interactivity. Retaining customers is one area where I see a big gap in our continent. We have the least focus on repeat sales or retaining, which has built brands globally. Globally, if you really understand the reason they have become the brands, because they've learned the art of getting their customers back and adding new clients. So that is one area which I'm going to touch again in the coming slides. The other challenge, as very well Kamalji mentioned, today don't worry about people who are selling cheap, but really worry about people who have find the art of printing cheap, because they've really fine-tuned their processes, they've fine-tuned how to deliver and cut cost or increase productivity. So this is one area. And all these feedbacks which I'm sharing are from the Indian print industries, the who's and who's of Indian and Sri Lankan print industry, because they have shared their feedback as to what needs to be really done to evolve the print industry in India and in Sri Lanka. So another area which now talking about the opportunities, we have a huge opportunity, which again was shared by Professor Bansal as well, in terms of packaging, the e-packaging market, and typically during COVID it grew by 40%. And it is expected to go by 17% year on year again. But that again will need a lot of use of technology. Non-paper products, as even Ramakrishnan ji mentioned, even Kamal ji mentioned. In fact, all the 3 speakers mentioned that it is important to have different print materials to be printed. And this is what, if you read this feedback from one of the leading printers in India, that they, during COVID times, they increased 50% non-paper printing, and which has helped them to grow sales even when the printers were struggling. Another opportunity, which if you understand, is one-stop service provider, as printers need to migrate, from that mindset of just printing. It's time where we really need to become, a one-stop service provider, understanding that we are no more just printers, but we are consultants. Yeah. So basically, it's a big opportunity now where we need to change as printers our mindset, that customers, end customers, are looking more of consultants or partners who can help grow their business, who can make their life easy and solve their communication challenges, rather than just offering print. And they are looking for they are looking for their providers who could offer them digital media. They can offer them printing on multiple segments, and can become a one-point service provider. Some interesting facts in terms where the today Indian, more about the consumers and the end buyers. 72% Indians are willing to pay better if they have a good customer experience. 62% will change their provider if they have a bad experience. Interesting fact today that 97% of the postal codes in India, out of the 19,000 postal codes that we have ordered online in last 1 year, which indicates a huge change in the shift of the customer's mindset. They are looking for better services, and they are looking for people who could really add value to their life in terms of better communication and better products. Another interesting fact, 5% increase in repeat sales can increase profit anywhere from 25% to 95%, and which is a huge growth in terms of profitability. A lot of times when I talk to printers in our continent, they all are striving to increase sales, but they're missing on the fundamentals, where their existing customers are being left about. Or I met few of my printers in the place where I come from, Ahmedabad, and I had a chance where they said we started new print segment, and we started losing our existing customers, in the other segment. And then I said, then what's the point of really investing so much time and money in growing something new when you're missing on your existing business? Another thing, it's 5 times to 25 times expensive to get new customers, and this is what companies like Amazon have understood. If we really need to look at Amazon not from what they've created or where they are, I understand we're not even competing, but they have understood these fundamentals. They know what it means to grow their business, what it means to offer customer, and they are changing the expectation of customers. Customers are, after using Amazons and Swiggy's and the Zomatos and Ubers of the world, their expectation of customer experiences are really driving ahead. And it's time really to understand how web to print or cloud printing can really help changing even for a small print shop, even for the smallest print broker who is a single user. And this technology can, because a lot of us have this notion that my customers won't order online, or my team is not prepared for using technology. My market is too small. I'm still too small to really look into this segments. But it's high time we really need to accept that we like it or we don't like it. The world is changing, and it's high time we need to spend time, invest time, apart from, because typically in our continent, the bigger the machines, we talk more about printing machines and investment into infrastructure. But now the time has come where growth will only happen if you have all-round structure in terms of printing machines will surely help. But it's time to have an ecosystem which delivers value to the customers, which delivers consistent modern experience to the client. And one major wrong notion that the printers have is that online printing means my customers will have to order online. But it has two aspects to it. One is the ordering online, and second is the order management. So even if your customers are not ready to order online, the other important part is how do you increase repeat sales, and how do you offer customer experience, how do you improve your own internal productivity. So that is also taken care of by the And they are not wrong, because most Web2 prints or the e-commerce platforms that are available, they're only focused on ordering online. Systems like on-print shop have built in and understood actually what is the most critical aspect. And the first step to change is to really change the processes internally, rather than changing the customers, or changing the habits of the customers. Because the more the people you need to manage your production, the more challenges, the more errors, and the more delay in deliveries. And as our earlier speakers, in terms of even Ramakrishnan ji mentioned, the industry 4.0 version, where the delivery, where the the time to deliver is going to be very, very critical. Anjan ji mentioned that today Web2 print and technology is going to be critical in managing small orders. Similarly, when Kamalji mentioned the same, how to produce cheap is going to be critical. And this is where we really need to understand how Web2 print or cloud printing can really make a huge difference, where it can reduce your repetitive tasks. And I would like to share this with an example, because I know this is one of our Indian printers who has been, when they contacted us, they're really doing very good. They are reasonably, I would range them into mid to large segment printers. But the biggest struggle was they were stuck up, their key people were stuck up into day-to-day operations. So there was no scope of growth, because if key people are involved into managing existing orders and customers, you cannot drive growth. And their challenge was they don't want to offer their end customers ordering online, because they realize they are not prepared right now. But it was getting very, very important for their internal team to be able to manage even small orders quickly and deliver orders on time. Because one of the biggest challenge they were facing was not able to deliver orders on time. They were struggling, and whenever they called up their internal teams, nobody was accountable for where the order, which department has delayed it, where the order is lying. And every time people were only on phones, either customers handling angry customers, or customers asking for the feedback as to where their orders are. And this is where, when they implemented the order management system, the first part, where they started with the basic structure, where they started managing all their orders from on-print shop. In terms of, I'll showcase some interesting aspects, which will, like, this is the back-end dashboard which they started order, because they realized that they want to process order from a central location, where they can have a complete look and feel, a complete control. Like, for example, on-print shop offers a job board, where you can actually see where your orders are, which department they are lying. So now when they get every order, whether it comes through phone, they come from emails, whether it comes from your WhatsApp, or people come walk in, they use the standard process. Everybody use the standard process to enter their orders, from on-print. So this is the job board, where you can see which orders are being processed on time. So this can be accessed from anywhere in the world, whether you are in Mumbai, whether you are traveling across the world, whether you have a mobile in hand, because it's a mobile responsive solution. And you can see that what orders are getting delayed. And so you don't need to worry even when you're traveling. Like I was talking to one of my client, and he mentioned that I've not had a peaceful vacation till date. The reason is because even on vacation, I am trying to coordinate with my production team or my customers, because if I switch off my phone, I lose orders, I lose business, I lose money because of errors, because of losing customers. And I have no control over my business as to what customers are coming in and going out. And this is what Let's Print changed. This is where they decided that we really want a system which lets us have a control over our entire business. So today they've not even implemented the pricing, content, nothing. They've just started using our quote management. So when a customer orders, they just click the quote, they order, they open, whosoever client calls up, they go on the quote form, they enter the detail. Immediately the system generates an email to the customer saying that, okay, we have received your quote and will be processing. So today that time of providing quote has gone down to a couple of minutes, versus where earlier it used to take days, and they used to lose customers because they couldn't deliver the quote in time. Apart from that, as I mentioned, the job tickets, and today when a customer walks in, they really don't need to go and ask customer, when did you order last? What was your last order? Who, which company you come from? Today, they just need to type the phone number or the details of the client. And right here, you can see, all the Naimish Patel that you have in the system, and you can just go and check their history. And, it has just upgraded the experience that customers are having today, with this company, in sense that the customer are delighted and really happy to have an experience where they don't really need to worry about when they ordered last, what was their last amount, which even the reordering has become so easy that from a click here, they can reorder. And this is where when I mentioned, transforming from a very basic system where we don't need to really do any programming, don't need any great IT knowledge, we don't need even to have content writers or program, any kind of great product pricing structure. You can start creating a next level experience for your own team as well as the customers. And you can have reports every day. You can check what your clients are ordering, what they're not ordering, because there are multiple reports already on the click. So this is one aspect of the business which has changed. And the minute a customer orders, there's an email that drops into his system, even without doing anything, that thank you, we have received your code and we are sending you this pricing. Even when the order updates happen between the department, the system auto generates a message to the client that your order is shipped or it's in printing, or even if there's a file missing, the system generates a message to the customer saying that this file is missing and we will need an update immediately to process your order. So there's no more fights and arguments between the customers because of whom the orders are getting delayed. Now, this is one part where we have been educating customers that it's very important that even if you are a small print shop or an individual print broker, this system will help you to focus on your core business, because the remaining aspect of the business are, you don't need to create manually job tickets, you don't need to create shipping labels, you don't need to communicate with the customers personally. Everything is happening in the system, and we have separate solutions for small shops, for print brokers, for large printers, for commercial printers, multiple product support. So there's, and the second part, as I said, where web to print comes in, is the online sales part, the front end part. Once your system is in place, once your existing people are free from your routine tasks, because management gurus also indicate that if you want to grow your business or even want to survive, your key people should be relieved from 80% of day-to-day operations. And once they are done, they can look at how to grow their print business, and that is where the front end comes in. So when you start with a new change, because it's not going to be easy for your traditional workflow or traditional team to really migrate to new systems, or your customers to accept new changes, and that is where small changes will be helpful. And this is where then once you have achieved this, you can always offer wide range of products, easily online estimation. For example, let me share a website. So this is where you can create. These are some of the key customers, large clients who Indian printers who are extensively successful right now. They've integrated multiple. They are servicing multiple companies in terms of even being their print providers, or they have this products front end where clients can quote themselves and they are reaching out to new markets. They're getting orders from the smallest villages in India, which was like, I was reading one of the reports even in the Sri Lankan market, where they mentioned that the next growth in Sri Lanka is not only going from only within Sri Lanka because of the limited market size, but it is going to come from the surrounding countries, small countries, because Sri Lanka has benefit of technology and the manpower to produce at a great price and deliver it to the. Obviously, currently markets are very, very difficult, and that's where I strongly believe, my experience is limited, but I have learned one thing, every time there's a challenge, there's an opportunity to grow. And that is what even the countries across the globe have reinstated. If the Great Depression to US, you look at the Japan after the World War II, and you look at India, all of them have come way more stronger. So I am very sure these times are also going to pass. So this is the time to really invest in your own self. Go and see how we can change, how we can shift gears, how the markets are, and these small changes, systems like web to print and on print shops are equivalent to an accounting system. Just like today you use Tally or any accounting system, manual work has gone. You don't use and write your own. This solution helps you to manage your customers centrally, all your orders centrally, all your data at one place. So key to success is going to be hiring the best people, and people will only join today if they see you are upgraded, you are updated. They don't want to work with old systems and old processes, and where the productivity is key, where they get an opportunity to improve and grow and be creative. Modern customer experience, as all the speakers have mentioned today, Amazons and the Swiggies of the world have changed the way customers interact with vendors, and they're looking for instant updates, instant deliveries, creative ways of communication, creative products. And finally, once you have this in place, the opportunity to expand into new markets and print segment, which is only possible because of technology. If you look at all the big chains, they've grown today because of technology. So whether we like it, we don't like it, it's time. We will have to spend time to implement technology in terms of software, IT, and use the best of systems to evolve from where we are. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Naresh Bodia, for your insight on the new technology and the solutions that you all provide. Kindly move on to the next speaker, Mr. Malinda Tennakon. Mr. Tennakon holds a BSc Engineering from the University of Moratuwa, postgraduate diploma in management and technology from the University of Moratuwa, and an MBA from the Commonwealth University. Experienced professional with over 2 decades hands-on business experience in the industry. Mr. Malinda Tennakon is currently the manager, pre-sales and technical at JDC Printing Technologies Private Limited, Sri Lanka. The floor is open, and I'd like to invite Mr. Tennakon for his presentation. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for everyone, and we have been listening to nice presentations and the speaks and good, almost 12 o'clock. So I will make it very short because everybody is maybe having some other agendas as well. So sustainability, most of the time you will be thinking why I am talking about this sustainability topic at the moment, because our country is in a very dangerous situation, and that we are on hand-to-mouth situation, and the entire printing industry is on hold. I mean, that most of the small printers are suffering quite a lot. They don't have materials, but I think this is the correct time to think new, act new. And most of the time that I see that a lot of that new exporters are booming, because the small guys are exporting a lot of things we were not thinking of early, and they need printing services, and they are coming to us for the printing services. And when they are in the export industry, they need sustainability, sustainable products. So we should support sustainability in the printing. And why we need sustainability? Why in the printing? Why it is important? First thing, actually, we have to think of our children. We need to give our children a better world. So if we don't react and work towards sustainability, we are offering them a very bad conditions in future. The other thing is that Generation Y, the millennials, have been very expecting. They are expecting sustainability, and they are the one who actually currently having the highest income level, and they are controlling the purchase. They are having the purchasing power, so they are expecting it. So we have to deliver sustainable products. And sustainable printing, the practices can be more cost effective than the traditional printing method practices. We always think that, that sustainability, we need higher investment. Sustainability, we have to start the business from the zero. But no, from the current situation, what we are in, we can implement step by step, and we can go towards sustainability. And apart from that, as Mr. RK said, now the eco awakening is happening all over the world, and he was most of the time he was telling that most of the time these brand owners are now concentrating on the eco-friendly products, because once that it's gone, once the brand owners decide that they want eco-friendly products, they will keep on promoting this. Like they promoted the herbal scenario in the market, they will promote this. So everybody will look forward to get eco-friendly products, and we have to cater eco-friendly printing for these products. So I will show you some the findings that are made by the McKinsey Group. This is done for the European market, and according to the purchasing patterns which can happen in future, the fashion and luxury industry will be looking for the circular products, because see recycled material, recycled and sustainable products more than anyone else. And it is growth is about from 150 to 200 billions of dollars, euros. So that means these products need packaging. These products need tags. These products need our printing. So if they are looking for the recycled and sustainable products, we have to give the printing sustainable. And the fast moving consumer goods also taking taking up the market. From 85 million to 140 million growth can be expected. So these need sustainable products, sustainable printing. So sustainability is not an option for us. So we have to move to sustainability in printing to cater these markets. Is printing is sustainable? Remember, the emission of volatile organic components, VOC components, and hazardous air pollutant, HFCs, are much, much higher in the printing industry. Not like in other industry, because these fumes that we are producing in printing cannot be collected easily. Right? So the printing is not sustainable in that sense. Tons of packaging waste that can take a long time to degrade are dumped on the landfill spaces. And not even landfill, if you walk in the road, you can see road sides also. There have been dumped printed materials. And other thing is that high water usage and the high in the printing material manufacturing as well as printing is contributing quite a lot. We are adding pollutants to the water, and from the Canadian governments, they have identified that that one of the industries among the some of the industries, printing is contributing highly to the environmental damages. You see, we have not thrown it as printers. We have not thrown into the environment, but we have contributed. See, there is a print on each and every package, each and every newspaper which has a dump, and the bottles. So being in the print industry, when you see it, we must feel very sad what we have done. I mean, we are not directly contributing, but that indirectly we are supporting them. If it is the biodegradable material, it shouldn't have weight like where it should not have been like this on the road, on the sea. So what is sustainable printing? Printing is not different to other production method. We are doing a production. Most of the time, we are using a lot of finished raw materials kind of thing and doing a value addition and delivering it. So the three pillars of sustainability is people, profit, and planet. It was a focus earlier also, but not that much, but that say profit. When it comes in the profit, earlier we were thinking maximizing profit in a cost-effective way and mitigating the risk. That was our early thinking pattern. But now in sustainable world, we have to think of making changes in the world without harming financial performance of us. We need profit. We need profit to pay our workers. We need profit for future investment. So without harming the financial performance, we need to think making changes in the world for the better. Another thing is that the other pillar is the people. Earlier, our concern is the shareholders, the investors only, and giving much better profit for them. And the focus is now changing. It's looking at the stakeholder levels. There will be, now we are looking at our own employees, our shareholders, as well as other community in the world, our neighbors and other customers, everyone. We are concerning the people as one unit. And least attention was paid earlier for the planet. We were not concerning much about the environment. Now they have given the more concern and hold the responsibility for the environment. Possible to do well by doing good. We think that going sustainability will eat out our profit, but profit will come if you do good things in a by doing it well, right? Sustainable printing initiatives should be start from the procurement. So it is not that producing something in a sustainable way. We have to look into broader picture, and we have to think take a holistic approach. So sustainable procurement is the initiative of this initial step that we have to take. We have to purchase renewable the material which is renewable or recycle manufactured by recycled sources. So in that case, we have to rely on the suppliers, those who are manufacturing their material in such a way that they are doing the least environmental impact. And apart from that, now it's come to your hand. It is the designing part. And the designing part, the material, when you design the material, it should be, we have to select the correct material which will last throughout the life cycle. And it should come back for the recycling. Selecting the material and producing it in such a way that we optimize the material usage and the energy use. It is very important. Waste reduction is in the design. We should avoid any waste. It is very important to keep in mind this material which is used should be able to recycle throughout the process. And next come to the manufacturing, production and manufacturing. This is the part of printing. Manufacturer using clean production technologies and the best practices is the main concern here. So how do you do that? We know that we are using chemicals most of the time in production. We have to reduce the chemical usage, and we have to dispose it correctly, and also that we have to reduce energy consumption reduced waste, the clean production practices we have to apply. And next step is transition from to non-fossils. We need energy throughout the process. So we should, being in a country like in Sri Lanka, we are actually, even though we use electricity for our production purpose, we know that, there are about 60% of the energy produced in Sri Lanka is used crude oils or some sort of, non-renewable energy sources. So we have to think of methods to introduce, convert our energy sources to non-fossil energy sources. So we can start by using solar power or some sort of energy sources which will reduce the use of fossil fuel. And again, next step is the distribution. So distribution and logistic should be cleaner. And we have to look for the non-fossil fuel alternatives. So for example, I know some of the printers in Sri Lanka started this quite long back. They have started using EV vehicles, even though nobody was concerned. But in the current situation, while others are waiting in the petrol queues, they are able to deliver their goods just because of making right decision at right time. And some of the, say for example, distributions, we have to, not only, the moving to that EV vehicles or something like that, we can cut down a lot of, unnecessary travels, unnecessary deliveries, planning properly. It will be a small step, but that we can do a lot of things for sustainable development of the world. And the other thing is that, collection and recycling. Collection and recycling is very important. You cannot collect all the printed material which has gone out of your factory, but waste collection and recycle, you directing it for the correct recycling method is going to help you out. It will make you much more sustainable, and therefore you have to think of collection and recycling methods, and which can be sustainable and give the sustainability to your printing methods. And apart from our last item in the 7 items that I am concerned is the people. Again, your people is, and not only your people, your neighbors and all, that other customers, we have to consider about it. And making a better, environment for this all is also very important. You can think of, that, making the better place for people to work and joining with the communities around, your facility and doing the, some CSR project and developing them, and that those kind of things can be added, and a lot of things that you can do in that area as well. I told you that doing well by doing good. This process should start from your heart, because your heart is very important. It's not the brain. Heart means that heart is the place where you feel with the love. So you have to have the love for something, you do to do it, and take your values to work and use that values. Then when we are going to implement it, you need the brain, knowledge. So you think of more productive and more innovative methods of doing it. So when you are even though your heart is full of, is full of ideas and thoughts which is towards sustainability, of the world, but if you don't have the methods in your brain, then you cannot do that. Brain means that just not you, but you have to build up a team with experts inside or outside. They will give you the the correct direction, but we are to move. That the brain is essential. Then next step is the energy that you want to do. Be purpose driven. Use the energy of your team, your people, and to achieve it. So this is very important. You need these three combinations in achieving a sustainability, doing well by doing good. Right. This picture shows that that some of the markets in Asia, they are again going back to some of the traditional old method of packing. Sustainability is not being moved into that level. I mean, it's good that that we can, if you deliver some of the products in such a way, it can be delivered on a small distance. Otherwise, that you can't be exporting. But that short distance you can do that. But you still see that that every banana leaf package is carrying a label. So I have seen in the market some of the items which should be consumed the same day, lying in the supermarkets, wrapped around with a plastic packaging, which will last more than 100 years on the ground. So that kind of things, I mean, collected in the local market, time to market is very, that only 1 day to within 1 day to which that be in the market. So these kind of things, do they need the packaging like that? So sustainability, I mean, the packaging, rethinking of the packaging, it doesn't want to be a banana leaf, but that the packaging, we can educate the people to use that packaging. We have the power, because printing has the power, as Mr. RK says, power to change. So printers, we have the power to change. So we can develop the product and which can be biodegradable, which will last. I mean, which can last for the requirement of the product's life cycle. I mean, products in the shelf. So that way, we have the power. We have to decide what should be the packaging for the printers. And you may have seen a lot of logos on some of the printed items. These kind of logos will indicate that that how they have taken steps to eco-friendly environment and the sustainability. But it will not say that 100% the product is sustainable, but they have taken steps. I mean, when it is come to the shelf of the supermarket, the people like to see these logos and they will think that that it is eco-friendly. 100, maybe 100 not eco-friendly. Like that zero carbon level doesn't mean 100% eco-friendly. There are maybe other things involved. So there are some certifications which can add. I mean, once you do something, you need to get certified. Like once you get education, you need a certificate. Like certification will give opportunity for you to market yourself. So these certifications are very essential. But when it comes to the certification and the certification bodies, their certifications are different from one to another. Look at this matrix. Say, for example, some of the application organization, when you see the applicability, sustainable forestry initiative is talk about the wood sourcing and the forest management. It doesn't say, I mean, it is green, but that it doesn't say about other things. Environmental compliance requirements, health and safety requirements, labor compliances, best practice for the entire facility requirements. Those are not represented on that, but it says it is wood sourcing and forest management compliances we are applying. So when it comes to ISO 14000, whole facility environment is measured, but that the management system is environmental system, policy is environmental, and control for specific activities are applicable for best practices for entire facility and facility use, reduce consumption, recycling and training and those kind of things. But that is not representing. And when it comes to the B Corp, whole facility environmental and social applicability is for the whole facility environmental, but profit it is for the profit companies. Randomly check all the auditors and auditings, and that control for specific activities are implemented. But SGP is concerned, one of the certifying bodies which is looking at that all aspects of the printing technology that that we're moving. It doesn't mean that that we have to go by these things. I just listed those things out. That when you are considering about getting the certifications, you have to concern about some of the criteria moving fully towards sustainability. So this is the end of my short presentation. I want just you give some brief idea about it, not talking about the subject. And so I'm very thankful for you concern on Mother Earth. Is there any question? Open.
Thank you, Mr. Malinda Tennakoon, for that very informative and very educational presentation on sustainability. Okay, thank you. Now we move on with the vote of thanks. In order to do the vote of thanks, I invite the General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Association of Printers, Mr. M. Senthilnathan, to deliver his vote of speech.
Thank you very much, Lakshita. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. From the Sri Lanka Association of Printers. Success is a state of mind. If you want success, start thinking of yourself as a successful person. Change is the real end result of a true learning. The learning process continues until our last breath. I am sure everyone present here had a very useful, meaningful, and a fruitful session at the Rethinking Printing and Packaging webinar organized collectively by the All India Federation of Master Printers and the Sri Lanka Association of Printers. My sincere gratitude and thanks goes to our President of All India Federation of Master Printers, Mr. P. Chandra, and the team of All India Federation of Master Printers for their assistance and participation. I would also like to thank the immediate past president of All India Federation of Master Printers, Professor Kamal Chopra, for all the assistance rendered in organizing this webinar for the printing fraternity of Sri Lanka. Professor Chopra is always a true friend to the printing fraternity of Sri Lanka, and his deeds are highly commendable. My special appreciation and thanks goes to our panel of speakers today, starting from Mr. C.G. Ramakrishnan, Professor Dr. Anjan Kumar Baral, and Mr. Naresh Bodia, and our own Mr. Malinda Tennakoon, for all their brilliant and mind-blowing presentations. I am sure that everyone enjoyed the webinar today and found it useful for your day-to-day work, and we can imply all these things in our day-to-day operations. Thanks to our President, Mr. Peter Decker, and the organizing committee for organizing such a wonderful workshop for all of us. I would also like to thank all who attended the webinar today and appreciate your participation and taking time off from your busy schedule this Saturday morning. My sincere thanks to our two moderators, Mr. Lakshita Janaratna and Supam De Silva, for moderating this session in a very professional manner. Last but not least, I would like to thank the Secretariat staff, including Mr. Leonard, for all the logistics and the promotional work for this particular training program, and the members of the Sri Lanka Association of Printing for their support in making this webinar a great success. Until we meet again, I wish you good health and happiness, and stay safe. All the best, and greeting from Sri Lanka Association of Printers.